back. The government has come up with new regulations to better monitor beauty treatments. Procedures such as Botox injections and skin whitening will now have to be carried out by registered doctors. Evelina Leung reports.
A year ago, a high-risk blood transfusion procedure at a beauty salon cost one person her life. A number of others were also hospitalized as a result. The government then set up a steering committee to review the regulation of private healthcare facilities. The committee put forward a number of recommendations today. Among the recommendations, cosmetic procedures that involve injections, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, or mechanical or chemical exfoliation of the skin below the epidermis should be performed by medical practitioners.
For example, procedures involving injection of botulinum toxin A, dermal fillers, skin whitening agents, and platelet-rich plasma, as well as dental bleaching, should only be performed by registered medical practitioners or registered dentists.
Ko added the doctors have to provide enough information to their patients before carrying out the treatments. The steering committee also supports the administration's plan to implement control over the use of medical devices through legislation. But this can only happen after consulting professionals. Some doctors say the government is on the right track, but more has to be done.
The group decided to propose area with the least controversy for considerations and regulations, whereas the more controversial area that involved the regulation of medical devices that has really been postponed or proposed to be looked into at a later stage.
Those working in the beauty industry say this could affect their business. Nelson Ip, chairman of the Federation of Beauty Industry Hong Kong, says a majority of local beauty salons provide the services mentioned by the steering committee. If the government requires all the treatments to be carried out by medical professionals, this could put up to 30,000 salon employees out of work. Evelina Leung, TVB News.
The Home Affairs Bureau has unveiled a plan to replace the entire pitch at Hong Kong Stadium. It is estimated the plan, which is yet to be discussed by legislators, will cost up to $100 million. João de Silva reports.
When the city played host to an English Premier League tournament last July, Hong Kong Stadium came under fire for the poor quality of the pitch. Now the government is pressing ahead with a plan to replace the entire turf.
There were a lot of shortcomings, in the turf, and also in the way that we responded, to emergencies like what happened in July, and so we need to actually, do more, to prevent, such things from recurring in the future.
The plan involves redesigning and replacing the drainage and irrigation systems, replacing the entire turf and soil structure, as well as making use of technologies such as growth lights and ventilation systems.
We will be able to start in the first quarter of 2015 at the earliest. The ballpark period of construction will hopefully be 10 months or hopefully within a year. And I just indicated a very rough figure of below $100 million.
The Leisure and Cultural Services Department will also review existing arrangements at the stadium with the possibility of restricting stages and other structures on the pitch. It would also mean avoiding major sports events during the rainy months of July and August and scheduling events evenly throughout the year to allow sufficient time for turf repair and restoration. The Permanent Home Secretary added that before funding is approved and turf replacement work can move forward, more studies will have to be done. João de Silva, TVB News.
The anti-Occupy Central Group Silent Majority for Hong Kong has called for legislation to make voting mandatory for all eligible voters. The 2012 LegCo election had a turnout rate of about 53%. Of 5.5 million people who qualify as a voter, less than 3.5 million are registered to vote. The silent majority, formed by academics, professionals, and business people, said the low turnout means the election results may not be a true reflection of what society wants. They suggested that Hong Kong take reference from countries such as Argentina and Singapore and put in measures to make voting mandatory. For instance, making Election Day a Labor Day holiday, and put in penalties for those who fail to cast their votes.
The police force held its annual Remembrance Day ceremony today. Commissioner of Police Andy Chung opened the ceremony with a speech honoring officers, both regular and auxiliary, who lost their lives in the course of duty. Attendees of the ceremony then observed 2 minutes of silence. The commissioner, along with top officials of the auxiliary police and other police organizations, laid wreaths at the foot of the books of remembrance.
French President Francois Hollande has finally found an interest group he can't say no to. The socialist leader told soccer club owners yesterday he has no intention of repealing or exempting them from a 75% tax on salaries exceeding 1 million euros per year. This means 14 of the 20 League One clubs will be affected by this tax, with Paris Saint-Germain the hardest hit, while Monaco will be exempt as they do not fall under French tax laws. Hollande's goal is to clean up the public finances of businesses that choose to pay high annual salaries. Football officials are not happy and threaten to organize a blackout, a weekend without a football match at the end of November. A survey shows that 85% of voters do not think football clubs should be exempted. Speaking of football, any football today?
Well, we'll see, but it's golf to get us going.
Okay.
Today, anyways. Dustin Johnson equaled the record at the Sichuan International Course at the WGC HSBC Champions event in Shanghai today. Johnson made 10 birdies and tied the course record with a 9 under 63 to take a 5-shot lead going into round 3. Rory McIlroy reached 10 under at the turn, but struggled on the back 9. He was 5 shots behind, along with Boo Weekley and Bubba Watson. Phil Mickelson had a 68 and was 7 shots back. No major upsets at the Paris Masters as the big names made it through to the quarterfinals, including top seed Rafael Nadal. Tony Sabine has a roundup of some of the earlier matches.
Day 4, the Paris Masters saw quarterfinal places up for grabs. One of the first in action was second seed Novak Djokovic, who was up against American John Isner. He had caused the Serb problems before and did again this time round, taking the first set after a tiebreak. Spurred into action, Djokovic dropped just 3 games after that to win the next 2 sets and reach the last 8. Djokovic's opponent will be Stanislas Wawrinka of Switzerland, who beat Spain's Nicolas Almagro 6-3, 6-2. Wawrinka's more illustrious compatriot, Roger Federer, is also through to the quarterfinals. Former world number 1 was a straight sets winner against Germany's Philipp Kohlschreiber, winning 6-3, 6-4. The result sets up a clash with number 4 seed Argentina's Juan Martín del Potro. Tony Sabine, TV News.
Some big matches in the English Premier League this weekend, including a clash between leaders Arsenal and Liverpool at the Emirates. The Reds can return to the top of the table if they beat the Gunners tomorrow, but Liverpool boss Brendan Rodgers says it won't be easy.
I think it's 2 very good teams. Arsenal are an excellent side who've, again, like you say, started the season very well as well, can score goals, get some top players. And we arrive in the game really confident, high in belief, and off the back of an outstanding performance.
A Long March rocket that will carry the Chang'e 3 moon probe into space has arrived at a launch center in Sichuan province on the mainland. The unmanned mission is set to be launched towards the end of the year. The Long March 3B rocket, China's most powerful carrier rocket, was transported to the Sichuan Launch Center by train yesterday. Chang'e 3 will perform a soft landing on the lunar surface, along with a moon rover for detailed exploration and collection of lunar soil and stone samples. The moon probe was assembled in Sichuan yesterday. The 2 major components, the lunar rover and the lander, were put together after testing. Solar wings and other equipment will be installed before the probe undergoes another series of tests. Chang'e 3 will be the first Chinese-made probe to perform a soft landing outside of Earth. It's part of the second phase of China's 3-step lunar robotic exploration program that paves the way for a manned mission to Moon. And that's our news. Thanks for watching.
Good night.
Good evening. The weather was mainly fine and it was dry during the day. And as tonight's situation chart shows, Typhoon Crosser was estimated to be about 500 kilometers southeast of Hong Kong. It is forecast to move west or west-northwest about 16 kilometers per hour, crossing the northern part of the South China Sea. Today's temperatures ranged from 22.6 to 29.5 degrees, and the relative humidity was between 46 to 80%. Winds are moderate east to northeasterlies. The current temperature is now 25.8 degrees Celsius, with the relative humidity standing at 65%. The standby signal number 1 is now in force. So Freddie, how's the weather tomorrow? It will be cloudy tonight. There will be a few showers later tomorrow. Temperatures will range between 24 and 27 degrees. It will be windy with a few showers in the next couple of days. Tomorrow's API is forecast at 30 to 120, and the pollution level will range from medium to very high. The maximum UV index forecast for tomorrow will be about 3. And here's the latest global weather update. Showers in Shanghai and Xiamen, rain in Taipei. Showers in Guangzhou and Macau, cloudy in Chengdu. Cloudy in Beijing, rain in Seoul, bright in Tokyo. Showers in Bangkok, rain in Manila. Thunderstorms in Kuala Lumpur and Singapore, showers in Jakarta. Sunny in New Delhi, Karachi and Mumbai. Sunny in Cairo. Sunny in Brisbane, bright in Sydney and Auckland. Cloudy in Toronto and New York. Showers in Vancouver, sunny in San Francisco and Los Angeles. Showers in Paris, Frankfurt and Zurich. And that's the weather. Have a lovely evening.